Hello, welcome back to my channel. Now, this is a bit special today. I'm taking a break from doing my travel vlog. I was gonna be putting up my Dubai travel vlog today, but it's been a very exciting week in politics and in my personal news, I guess. So, some of you know, those who follow me on Instagram and on Facebook know, a couple of days ago, my sex life was splashed all over The Guardian. Well, it was an interview that I did, and I was very happy to share this interview. It is about the fact that I was interviewed for having a scheduled sex life with my husband. Hashtag schedule sex. Now, while I may not like the word schedule, I'm very happy and very proud to admit to the world I have a great sex life. At least in my universe, it's a great one. Now, but let me also share that, during this divisive period, politics, the Brexit mess, and the two terrorism events for the last 1 week, which is not very fun. I guess my sex life or sex life of people in general became quite interesting to share. And from the Guardian article, I got called by BBC 5 Live, and from there it was syndicated to other BBC radio, and now the Irish radio wants to talk to me. Now, let me just also, I'm going to be sharing the clip of that BBC interview with you shortly at the end of this yakety yak. I just want to preface that by saying, somebody asked you, why are you so comfortable sharing about your sex life? Because, in England, people are not very comfortable to talk about their sex life and, be so open about things like that. Now, let me just remind you, my husband is Scandinavian. They are the most open society about sexual communication. They are taught about, they're given sex education from a very, very young age. Besides the Dutch, for example, they are very open, they're very honest, and, the nudity, naked body is not a big deal. Our children are taught about sexuality from very early. They know the name of their body parts in the real English scientific term, really. And I come from a culture that may not be open about sex talk, but we are very underneath the surface of our skin. We're a very sensual culture, and we make lots of gentle insinuations about sex and marital happiness. So we have lots of natural herbal products to make sure you have a happy marriage between, husband and wife and things like that. So I'm very open about my about myself and my marriage and things like that. So that's, for me, is part of my goddess living, is being comfortable about things that are pretty normal, and sexual stuff and procreation is part and parcel of normal living. I might be shy to talk about, being addicted to chocolate or something like that, which I'm not. But what I'm saying is that, I'm not going to be silence, because some people are like, oh my god, it's so embarrassing, you're talking about your sex life and things like that. But I realized that talking about sex, which is the fundamental things in life, procreation, and is how we, it's how we human species survive. But also the human species is one of those who use sex for pleasure. So without talking too much about it, let me share with you the clip about how I enjoy my sexual relations with my husband in a scheduled environment. Not really, we are also into spontaneous stuff. But anyway, for the sake of argument for this article, let's just say I'm a scheduler. So enjoy the interview.
This may be a wake-up call to all of us. Is it time to start scheduling sex in our busy lives? I know lots of people might think it should be a spontaneous expression of love and passion, but look, life isn't like that, let's face it. We're going to talk about this. It might be something you don't want the kids to hear. I don't know. Depends how kind of free and open you are about these things in your household. Let's speak to Ernie Rosa Crow, who regularly books in time with her husband Anders every weekend. Good morning, Ernie.
Good morning.
I believe Anders was going to join us, but he's busy sorting the kids out.
Yes, unfortunately it is school. It is school run this morning, so he has to do all the things while I chat.
Of course, that's absolutely as it should be. Now, this was discussed in an article in one of the newspapers recently, and it caught our attention. So, how does it work for you, Ernie? How do you schedule sex in your lives?
Well, I don't really like the word schedule because we've been together years, kind of like your mind, you after all these years that weekends are mum and dad's intimate moments time, so it's just it just happened.
Okay, we missed a little bit of that. We need to schedule an engineer to come and sort out our phone lines. But effectively what you're saying is it was about identifying a time in the week that you'd be free and making sure it happens then. Is that pretty much the way it works?
Exactly. We don't put it in a diary. There is no calendar. There is no Outlook program that, beeps like, Saturday morning, wake up, you've got to do the birds and the bees. No, it's just something that's at the back of our minds. We make sure it happens because we know it's our intimate communication time.
I understood that it was absolutely bang on 7 o'clock every Saturday morning.
Well, it started off because that's before our eldest daughter would wake up. As a baby, she would regularly wake up at 8 every Saturday.
Wow.
So
that's
so
great.
We were kind of like...
Can I come in here? Because I'm just thinking, I was saying earlier on, is this news? And I didn't mean that in a disparaging way about we shouldn't be doing it. I think it's absolutely fascinating. But isn't it just obvious? And people with young children will know this, people with busy houses will know this, that one has to say, look, there will be an opportunity on Thursday week. It doesn't necessarily happen.
Thursday week?
Thursday week. I'm talking about, you said Friday week earlier on for Brexit. Let's not get into the short extensions. But we were talking. Isn't it just sensible? There will be a window of opportunity.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, when you have children like we do, we have 4. You're gonna have a very busy household. There is sports, after school activities, and our work. I'm running my husband. We've got 3 different businesses. We travel for work, and it's in order to stay together. For me, marriage is like a marathon. You don't just run on a marathon without training all the time. So I look at it that way.
I think the crucial point here, the difference is, it's about cracking on with it when sometimes you may not feel like it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been accused on some other newspaper report saying, "Oh my God, she's encouraging marital rape," and I'm like, "My God, that's very extreme."
What?
Yes. I mean, it's very scary to read some of the comment people make online. But I'm thinking, look, we are 2 consenting adults in a consenting relationship, in a marriage. Sometimes, you got to take out the rubbish when you don't want to, and sometimes you got to clean the kitchen when you don't feel like it. But it's for the good of the household, and sometimes
you can warm to the idea, can't you?
Yeah, but you know what they say, right? Libido is like a muscle. If you don't practice it, if you don't use it, it's gonna go. So sometimes you're just like, all right, you want a little bit more than I do, and sometimes I want a little bit more than he does, and we just, put on a smile and just warm it up, and we just go, right, let's get on with it.
A friend of mine coined a phrase for this. She described it no, genuinely. I'm not going to name the friend, but she described it as duty sex.
Yeah, you can tell, scratching the itch moment.
Right. Okay.
But
there may be times when, what the point is, there may be times when neither party particularly feels like it, but for the good, as you say, for the good of the kind of keeping the relationship going. And actually, if there isn't a degree of regularity to it, you get out of practice.
Yeah, I'm saying you might not feel like it, but very quickly you can get into the idea.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. You think, oh, yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's
kind of,
onwards and upwards.
But that's kind of like spontaneous sex, isn't it? I mean, we don't always like, on a Wednesday night, like, one of us feels like him to go, no, I'm sorry, honey, we've stuck till Saturday morning. No, if one of us feels spontaneous and like, I'm feeling a little bit cheeky tonight, you just want to do it, you do it. There is no, people think that people who schedule their sex lives are very rigid about it. And I'm like, no, it's not. Spontaneous, it's fun. It's like having a rich chocolate cake. You don't eat it every day. You don't get it all the time, but you enjoy it when it happens.
Thank you very much, Ernie, for sharing that with us. We'd love to hear our audience reaction to that and, how you manage these things in your own lives. Ernie Rosa Crowe, who along with her husband Anders schedules their private time together, their intimacies. Our next guest, by the way, looking slightly askance. I think, Mike, you thought I was going to delve into this with you when I started playing Je t'aime.